Welcome back, family. It's your guy Trip 5. If you're new, subscribe and join our growing 5 tribe. You know we're all on this journey together. Now let's dive right into tonight's video.
Predators love hotels, and especially when it comes to women traveling alone. Here are some simple but effective habits to turn the tables in your favor. It starts before you even check in. Park in the front of the hotel, where the lights are brighter and the camera coverage is better. Use the main entrance every time you enter or leave the property. Stairwells and side entrances are not your friend. During check-in, guard your private space like you're at an ATM. Desk clerks know not to say your room number out loud, but it's written on your room key envelope, so don't let anyone get close enough to see it. All right, let's move to the elevator. Rule number 1, don't push your floor button until the door closes. If someone gets on with you, let them select their floor first. Stand near the panel and make a mental note of where the alarm button is. If you feel like someone has followed you to your floor, stay on the elevator and return to the lobby. When you get to your room, do a quick scan to make sure nobody's followed you. The moment you're inside, put out the Do Not Disturb sign and lock the door. Use the next 2 or 3 minutes to run a security sweep. Check hiding spots like closets and behind curtains. Inspect door locks, deadbolts, and the peephole to make sure they haven't been tampered with. If you want to go full James Bond here, there are affordable devices like this that will scan for radio frequencies, magnets, and infrared, all of which are used in spy cameras and hidden microphones. Finally, before you turn in for the night, consider putting a wedge alarm under the door. These are available on Amazon. They're inexpensive, they're loud, and they will scare the crap out of someone trying to sneak into your room during the night. So what say you, savvy travelers? Share your favorite safety tips in the comments.
You know, in my opinion, I don't think this only applies to women. You know, this can apply to kids or even teenagers. If you knew how many people go missing a year in just America alone, you would be on high alert as well. I feel like these are some tips everyone should know, because it's an evil world we live in, y'all.
They say that there are like little people living in the jungle.
Yeah, like a dwarf.
Like dwarfs.
Yeah.
Is that here too?
Yeah. These are the ones. Yeah.
That's
These are
them?
dwarfs.
Have you seen them before?
Yep.
You've seen them?
They're the representative of the dwarfs.
They look like people or what?
They look like people.
What do they do?
They kill people. We don't see them very often. If
Little-
you go to the jungle and if it is very quiet, then you can see them running around.
Whatever, you've seen them too? Everyone sees them?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Can somebody please tell me what the fuck this is? I live in Mansfield, Texas, and this was in the sky today. And now there's helicopters out circling the area. If anybody has any idea what this is, send me a message and let me know, because it's really creepy and I think it might be an alien.
You know, some people will probably say that this is AI, but this is something that really happened, that someone recorded. I know I'm not the only one that think that it looks like a person holding a stick or something. And then she said helicopters just started appearing out of nowhere and circling the area. It seems like something might be happening that they're not telling us about.
That fog is so thick that's covering California that these birds don't know where the fuck to go. Look at all these fucking birds. They supposed to be flying south for the winter. They still stuck in Northern California. Like, what the fuck is really in that fog that got these birds acting like this?
Apparently, people on here are saying that scientists confirm that dreams are real in another reality. And if that's true, I am so beyond cooked. Wait, so if I had a lucid dream, you're telling me... Stop, you're joking. You mean to tell me I've just been casually switching realities? Y'all remember back in 2020 and like 2021 when people were trying to shift into their alternate realities and stuff, and they were trying to do that through lucid dreaming? Y'all remember that? I can't be the only one that remembers that. It was a whole trend on TikTok. That's what this trend reminds me of. Hey, cause now I'm kind of mad. Why would y'all tell me this knowing that we can't go to these other realities? What was the point in telling me that? There's nothing I can do about that now. I mean, I doubt it's real anyways, considering the fact that it's basically impossible to make dreams real. Matter of fact, who said this was real anyways? Because you know how on TikTok they make up stuff and it somehow becomes trending? Could you imagine if they were able to record your dreams and you could watch it over and over again? Imagine if that was real though. Like people just posting their dreams on TikTok. Which dream can go the most viral? We'll call it like dream talk. Which dream can get the most likes? Who can go viral based off their dreams? Imagine if you could relive your dream through like a VR headset or something. Yo, that would be such a sick concept. I'm telling you guys, it's something new every single day.
You know, this is something I wholeheartedly believe. You know, sometimes dreams could be messages. You know, sometimes people have the gift to dream about the future. And you know, other times it's just something weird happening. You know how we sleep, the soul leaves the body and go into another reality. Now, what if in that other reality, they have dreams about what's going on in this reality? That shit would be crazy.
So, like, I'm like walking to my car. I just put my son in my car. And then I'm on the floor and I'm like, what the heck? Is that mine? And I look at my key, but it's not mine. What a freaking coincidence. And it literally looks like the same exact thing as mine too. That is crazy. Then I found a glitch in the matrix, whatever you call it, matrix.
Something happened and I need to talk about this. So a couple weeks ago, I took off of work. My last night I worked. I always park in the same 3 spots. Creature of habit for 6 years. I park, I back in, and when I back in, I'm facing this way. Okay? I do my shift. I come out of work, and when I come out of work, my car is parked in a row over there, backed in, facing that way. Excuse me. I'm so freaked out. I text my boyfriend as I'm walking back in the building, and I'm like, hey, did you come get my car and move it for some reason? He said, no, I don't even know where your other key fob is, by the way. And I said, okay, I'll like call you in a few minutes. I go back into the security office. I said, my car was moved. Can you come look at it with me? Like, what can we do? We go out, we look at my car. I don't see anything wrong. And I said, I'm really freaked out. Can we like watch footage? I said, because something isn't right. I said, that spot over there is where I was parked. And the spot was empty. So we go in, he starts looking at footage. And in the footage, the spot where I parked is empty. You could see a flicker once or twice. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not, I don't know. But I park in the spot where I found my car when I walked out after my shift. But I'm wearing a totally different scrub outfit and I have my old bag that I used to carry before I posted one here when I bought a new LL Bean bag. I was in a totally old outfit. And I said, no, this can't be right. I said, look at my outfit. Look what I'm wearing. Look at my bag. And he was like, oh yeah. I said, this has to be old. He said, no, old footage erases after so much time. And I said, okay, well, this can't be right. And he said, no, look at the trees. Look at the timestamp. This is last night. I said, but I didn't park over there. I parked in that empty spot. So we kind of looked at each other, like we were both kind of like, what? I don't know what happened. I said, can you please just come back out with me to really take a look at my car? Took a good look at my car. Didn't see anything wrong. Didn't see anything missing in my car or moved. But something happened with time. And it's so weird. Totally freaked out. This happened 3 weeks ago. I think about it every single day. And I've been not wanting to tell the story because I don't want to sound crazy. But this happened. There was a glitch and my car was in a different spot. And you even saw 2 little flickers in the video. I don't know. But something is definitely happening with time. I've been having weird dreams. I woke up with a swollen eyelid. Something happened. I have no explanation for it. But my car was moved. And I was in different clothes. And it's not old footage. Because he said the old footage erases. I don't know.
Imagine something like this happened to you. How would you react? You would probably keep replaying that scenario in your head. She said that she seen 2 little flickers in the video, and then she seen herself in an old outfit with an old bag. That's creepy as hell. What's your thoughts on this one?
No, se le pone la moneda. Ponle pues cuidado. Escuche cómo suena, escuche. Suena y dice, niño. Escuche. Niño.
$765 spraying dog medicine on my hands to make them tougher. I could now levitate aluminum foil.
Boy is really developing powers by spraying dog medicine on his hands. And he's already on day 765. Imagine when he get to 1,000. I swear people just be freestyling on the internet. I'm curious to see how far he gonna take it.
I'm a big fan of stealing homeless people's identities. Don't judge me. I trick them. I used to make a survey, 17 questions. I had a statistical survey badge that said I was a statistical surveyor. And when I would go around and I'd say, hey, excuse me, I'm taking surveys for the Salvation Army to try and determine where we're going to place our next homeless facility. I'm assuming, are you homeless? And they'd be like, yeah. Like, okay, well, look, I'm taking a survey. They go, oh, I'm not interested. No, it pays $20 cash right now. You're going to pay me right now, $20 cash right now. And I'd show them a little couple of 20s and I go, right now, bro. And I write name, date of birth, social security number. I go through all the basic questions, all things I need to steal your identity. I get all that information and I give them the $20. I go online. First thing I do is I just order their birth certificate, order a copy of their social security card. I would mail it to an abandoned house. I'd order 3 secure credit cards, build up their credit. I would build some kind of a scam using a cell phone in that person's name or borrow from hard money lenders, borrow 3 or 4 mortgages at the same time in that person's name. When the whole thing is said and done, once you've got the money, you've pulled the money out, I would then turn around and I would go back to that guy and I would give him his cell phone, his computer, some money, probably ask him to hold some documents in the hope that once I took off with the money and law enforcement looked into it and said, hey, there's $1 million missing here, they'd track him back somehow to the cell phone and grab him and arrest him and he'd go to jail, and it'd take a year or 2 before they figured out that he had nothing to do with it. Now, if he has a criminal record, it's that much better.
This nigga tweaking. He ain't got no. You want my jacket, bro? Huh? You want my jacket?
I haven't worn a jacket since I was 14.
Why is that?
I'm not cold.
What?
I'm actually warm.
No, what the fuck? You warm as shit.
It could be snowing, you're gonna see me like this.
Nah, what the fuck? You don't got no goosebumps.
Even in the ferry, I'm outside letting the snow smack me. Outside the ferry.
What?
I never get sick. Since I was 14, that was the last time I wore a jacket or sweater.
That's crazy, bro. I just saw it.
The show Empire is based off of Diddy's life. This is a theory, so don't try coming to sue me now. But when this show came out in high school, at first I thought it was about Jay-Z. Then as I'm watching it, I'm like, yo, this shit might be about Diddy. There's a lot of similarities. You got the son that he wasn't born in the streets or in the struggle, but he wanted to be a gangster rapper, rapping about that lifestyle. You got the firstborn son who's his right-hand man. You got the son that is his son, but he doesn't view him as his son because he's gay, right? Why? The son that wasn't born in the streets but want to be a gangster rapper, his right-hand man. If you watch the 50 Cent doc, when they went into the bathroom and shot that dude, Justin, the firstborn, that's his right-hand man. The son that isn't technically his son, but he views him as a son. There's a lot of similarities. And I think after watching the 50 Cent doc, that Cookie is supposed to be Diddy's mom. But in the show, they made it his wife. You know, they can't be too similar. It's loosely based off his life. And look, watch. In the show, Lucius kills his best friend, a chubby dude named Bunky. Who does Diddy allegedly kill? His best friend, Biggie. I'm telling y'all, I'm cooking right now. I'm telling y'all right now. Yo, this shit might be for real. When I was a kid, I was like, yo, this might be about Diddy. Like, you know, but then they always said, nah, it's not true. But after watching that 50 Cent doc, yo, this shit might be for real. I'm telling y'all, watch Empire and then go watch the 50 Cent Diddy doc. That shit is for real. There's a lot of similarities. I'm telling y'all.
You know, the crazy thing is, I believe when this show was airing, I think Diddy really tried to sue him. It's almost crazy how everybody in the industry knew exactly what was going on, but nobody stepped up to him. You know, that documentary about Diddy, that 50 drop was deep. You know, we haven't spoke about it yet. Let me know what y'all think about it in the comments.
And if I said Jesus not only get in the way of you honoring your ancestors, he's also getting in the way of you honoring your ancestral birthrights? Yeah, because you're so busy calling your ancestors demonic and demons, you can't even get the spiritual knowledge, not understanding they use these spiritual gifts to help free us, to help fight, to help resist. Can't even tap into the legacy of our ancestors, your lineage, because you too busy calling them demons, calling demonic. This is spiritual warfare. It is. How do you think they got through that? Listening to the white man? Everything our people did was demonic and bad, but everything they did is of God and holy. Ooh, rituals are witchcraft. Putting food on an altar to your ancestors is demonic, but you take a styrofoam wafer and some grape juice every month. That's stale cracker to represent body and blood in a ritualistic setting. but that's holy. Conjuring a spirit of your ancestors is demonic. Speaking a language that nobody understands is demonic, but you catch the Holy Ghost and speak in tongues, and that's a gift from God. Bestowed upon, I just caught it from white Jesus. Getting a dream, seeing a vision, divination, all of that, it could be the devil leading you astray. But over here on a pulpit, a man laying a hand on your forehead, all of a sudden he's telling you what's going on. That's the gift of prophecy. Oh, that's the gift. But over here, no, you're just going to the devil. You're just dreaming about the devil. Why isn't it our ancestors got gifts? Harriet Tubman, she used to pass out, right? And she would get visions, and she was helping a whole bunch of people to freedom. Was it not spiritual gifts helping our people fight spiritual warfare? Is it possible that they wanted us to denounce our spiritual gifts because then it would make the spiritual warfare easier for them? Would it not make them easier to fight the war and win all the battles if we not tapped into what we know how to do and how we know how to combat this shit? Let's get into white Jesus for a moment, because it's really not even Jesus' fault. It's y'all perception of Jesus. Perception of Jesus. Perception of how a bunch of men wrote a book because they didn't let no books, in any essays or any prophecies written by women in the book. You know that, right? It's really the perception of Jesus, because if you really wanted to connect with Jesus, you could understand that Jesus was most likely Palestinian.
Book of Revelation.
Jesus would have been a brown Arab man where Palestine's at right now, but you so connected to Jesus. You know Jesus so well that the country that's over there that's obliterating the people that would have been around Jesus, you support them because they got the Holy Land. They're the holy people. You don't even know Jesus. Do you know Jesus? Because if you knew Jesus, you would know that that's not right. But do you know? You know your perception of Jesus. You know their perception of Jesus. And because you know their perception of Jesus, you know their perception of God. You know their perception of your spiritual gifts. You know their perception of how they see the demon in you. And therefore you see their perception of how you see the demon in your ancestors.
Starting in January, you must submit 5 years of your social media history in order to be allowed into the United States. The Department of Homeland Security has announced that everyone, including people who can enter without a visa, must submit their social media profiles and be viewed up to 5 years beforehand. They also must be required to submit a photo, because when they enter the US, photos are now taken of your faces. Your social media account will be monitored for political activity, including anti-Semitism and support of terror groups. Meaning in the past 5 years, if you've reposted something that was critical of the Israeli government, you could be denied entry. Even if you're coming in a European country that has great relations with the US, and normally you could just show your passport. Well, starting January 1st, no. These social media posts would look for, quote, anti-American views and memes of people like Trump and J.D. Vance that make fun of the two. Now, this applies for absolutely everyone. So if anybody just wants to come in with a passport from the United Kingdom, they must beforehand submit their social media profiles to be allowed entry.
Now, what is the word shifting into? He said that you need to show your social media before you step foot into the country. And if you're talking bad about Trump or Vance, that you can't be let in. What if somebody was just playing around? What y'all think? Do you think that's the right thing to do? Or do y'all think that's a reach?
Let me show you how easy it is to create a truth out of thin air. So if I took 35 people into the jungle and told them all that from this point onwards, long fingernails means you're chosen by the ancestors, right? And everyone agrees to teach their kids that. Give it 3, maybe 4 generations, and suddenly my made-up rule is reality. And that's not even because it's real or anything. It just got repeated, socially enforced, and agreed upon. Now, imagine a kid turns around and goes, wait, what if long fingernails actually means nothing? They're not even going against some deep universal truth. All they're doing is challenging a script that everyone's identity is wrapped around. So obviously what's going to happen? They'll get shunned, they'll get punished, they'll get called disrespectful. Why? Because questioning it shakes the whole group. Now let's pause just for a second and replace long fingernails make you chosen with beauty standards, age expectations, marriage pressure, religious beliefs, gender roles, success timelines. The list could go on. My point is, it's the same mechanism every single time. A group of people made something up, repeated it, enforced it, and everyone born after just downloaded it unconsciously. And the crazy part is people act like the original rule makers were, I don't know, wiser or more divine or more in touch with the universe or in more time. No, they were just the first ones that were confident enough to say, this is how we're doing things from now. And everyone else just followed along because humans love familiarity. And once you actually see this, everything else just starts sounding so ridiculous, because what do you mean behind? According to who? What do you mean ugly? According to who? Like, even down to people telling me where I'm supposedly going when I die. I'm sorry, but according to who?
Man, what the hell is going on in his mouth? How does that even happen? You know, what I'm thinking is that he had a hole in his mouth and a bug decided to crawl in there and start laying eggs. And now it's just spreading throughout his whole mouth.
Tested it? They tested it, and it had human flesh. They proved it. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. You go right now, you go look at McDonald's, and say, how many billions of people they feed?
All of them.
It's say 85 billion sold.
Right,
yeah, how many billions did Wendy's feed? How many billions did Burger King feed? How many fucking cows in the world? Well, keep it real, guy. How many cows in the world? There's not enough. There's not enough cows to go around, right? So everybody not eat beef.
But it's not human, though.
Come on,
it's
gang,
probably
human.
not beef.
No, it's human game.
It's probably some
It's
lab
human
shit.
game because that's the ritual,
So
right?
you don't eat any meat?
No, I can't because all meat is poison, right? Because you don't know what you're eating. Listen,
What if you kill the animal yourself?
Come on, gang, listen to me. You can't kill nothing. Once you kill the animal, remember I told you, everything has a soul. Everything's alive. Once you kill the animal, it's going to be scared. It's going to be inferior. And once you eat it, you're going to be the same.
Because that energy's trapped
Yeah,
into
the
this.
energy is trapped into it. Because when you die, when everybody die, they got to be careful. You cannot be in fear. That's how you come back.
What if the carrots are scared when you're ripping them out?
Listen, I don't think you understand, right? Fruit and animals is different, right? The fruit is for you. You're supposed to eat it. You're supposed to eat vegetables. You're supposed to eat all these things. You're not supposed to eat the meat because you're eating something that's alive that have blood and breathing like you. Right? And then you're an animal, right? You want to be an animal.
People don't know this, but chocolate was never supposed to be candy. Cacao pods originated in the upper Amazon basin, and its seeds were actually used to pay for things. 100 of these seeds could buy you a canoe, and 3 of them could get you a fresh avocado. Cacao beans were so valuable that people even made counterfeits. They'd fill up seashells with mud and let them dry. The beans were typically only grounded and fermented into a drink called, and I'm being so serious, chocolat, which translates to bitter water. And it was only really for rulers and warriors, but I think I'll pass on this one. But when the Spanish arrived, they loved the beans' economic power, but they also hated the taste. So when they brought it back to Europe, they added sugar and honey, making what we now know as hot chocolate, which is pretty insane.
It's like that. No one wants to be the first one to get obliterated. That is how you make a plasma cannon of doom.
You know, lately on social media, I've been seeing these plasma cannons. How are people creating this shit? And what are they using it for? Now imagine somebody who be on bad time and get a hold of this shit. You know how much damage they're gonna do.
Hollywood is the vehicle. It is the vehicle in which they can modify our behavior. We worship celebs, right? We follow celebs. We follow celeb trends. And so these handlers have to get celebs to behave in a certain way. In that same interview, crazy Dave Chappelle recalled being peer pressured by handlers to do something very odd, to wear a dress. Take a listen to this.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like, when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. That's happened to me. So the writer comes in, I think he's the writer, he's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail, so he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on, and what, a prostitute? Nah, I'm not doing that, I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it.
Very interesting. Because, I mean, by the way, don't listen to him because he's crazy. Kanye's crazy, he's crazy. And also, I remember crazy drug addict, at least that's what the media says, Cat Williams, similarly told us that he was being manipulated by the media when they tried to convince the world that he was a drug addict, but he insists that he had never touched that stuff, that he had never touched crack cocaine. And he also spoke out about this peer pressure for people in Hollywood to start wearing dresses. Take a listen to Cat Williams speaking to Joe Rogan about that.
You don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about does following the ritual work. Yeah. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear. So like when I be like, oh, these guys are wearing dresses. Everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is. So 20 years ago, I knew that transgenders was going to be a thing. It wasn't because I was a prophet. It's just I had gotten so much information that I understood that things are secular. So I understood that the earliest I had seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender.
I'm the most feared man in Hollywood. They don't like me in Hollywood.
Why do they not like you in Hollywood?
I don't wear dresses. I don't do that gay stuff on TV. You have to get some other black person to do that stuff. I'm talking, that's gutter. But they all confess they love the Lord. But you cannot compromise yourself if you love the Lord. So I play tough guys, but young kids want to be soldiers. Young kids don't want to follow a guy to wear a dress. You know what I'm talking about.
You know, it's crazy how all of the celebs who wore dresses are very successful. And the people who didn't want to wear it, their success is a little different. They're not really in the spotlight. And you know, only a few celebrities were showed in that last video. There's a lot of them who done this exact same thing.
Now, most of the comments on this video think it's AI, which is understandable, but it's not. Meet the planarian flatworm. It's a carnivorous species of worm that's found in dark places all over the world. And according to scientists, they are biologically immortal. In other words, they can't die from natural causes. But not only that, they also have the best regeneration abilities of any creature on Earth. They're basically indestructible. If you were to chop one of these bad boys in half, both halves will turn into two completely new worms. In fact, one researcher chopped one of these up into 279 pieces. You know what happened? 279 new worms happened. You can't kill it. You can only give it teammates. But the wild part is when you chop them up into pieces, all the pieces will have the same memories. And because of that, it's raised a whole bunch of questions regarding where memory is actually stored. Moral of the story, there's a chance that the movie Venom might have been a documentary. And as always, follow for more facts.
You alright?
Just look at this, y'all. And I just got the idea, but just look.
This is exactly why you have to be mindful of what you're buying from the thrift store, because you don't know who had it before you, and you don't know what type of energy they left on it. And who the hell would want that looking at them in the nighttime like that?
The family you was born into is not your real family. In fact, we have two families, a physical family and a spiritual family. You ever ask yourself why you and your family don't get along? If you start a business, they don't want to support you. If you need their help, they don't want to support you, but they will support strangers before they support you. Think about that. Your family might look like you, share the same last name, but when it comes to real spiritual purposes, y'all don't share nothing. This video is about to get a little dark and a little deep. Stay with me. So many people focus on the physical family tree and they forget about their spiritual family tree. The branches represents your physical family. The roots represent your spiritual family, the family we can't see. Anytime your physical mother have labor pains, you have a spiritual mother having labor pains. If we really pay attention to the placenta, it looks like a tree. Let's take this a little deeper. When you study this language, you will understand that the word family really means servant. Not only do it mean servant, it means household as well. That's why they want everyone to get a mortgage. the word mortgage means death pledge. Most of the people in your family, they don't really want to help you. We have so many different timelines. So a lot of your family members in this lifetime, they were your enemies in your past life. They just reincarnated through your family bloodline. A lot of people can't remember their spiritual contracts because they got us at birth. Remember, the placenta is the tree of life, but the umbilical cord is your spiritual cord. Our umbilical cord is really special because that's how we get all of our downloads from our past lives. But what do the doctor do? They trick us and say, cut it immediately. You were supposed to wait 9 minutes before you cut the umbilical cord. 9 is connected to the divine or the feminine, the goddess. So many people forgot their spiritual families. Why do you think the elites made different countries, different cities, different states, passports, IDs? Because they took your real spiritual family and threw them all across the world. So anytime you go on your spiritual journey, don't forget you're searching for your spiritual tribe. I'm not saying your physical family is evil, but be careful. You ever met strangers that feel more like family than the people you actually grew up with? You ever had a conversation with a stranger and got chill bumps? That's your spiritual family.
Okay, so let me just make this quick. Think of an apple on a table right now. Think of an apple on a table right now. So right now that you're picturing the apple on the table, I want to ask you a question. What is looking at that apple on the table if you're watching this video? What is you just picture apple on the table. Okay, you see that apple on the table? What the fuck is looking at that apple on the table if you're watching this video? How you looking at two things at once? Who's looking at the other thing? Who's looking? Nah, answer the question. Who's looking, bro? Who's looking? Who's looking at the apple on the table? When you go to sleep and you're dreaming, if your eyes are closed, who the fuck is watching a dream? How do you see what's going on in a dream? Sleep on that.
Damn, these are the type of things that make you question your whole reality. Let me know if y'all figure out the answer for this. I appreciate you for watching, family. If you want to support the channel, tab below and shop the Trip 5 collection. Memberships, merch, and artwork are all there. I love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one.